Today we are talking about one of the wildest MMO collapses we've seen in years. While making this video, I had to update it like at least 3 times since there were always dropping new infos. So I'm sorry upfront when I sometimes feel like I cut myself out, but it was necessary so I get everything on time, at least in one video, what is going on for now. So let's see where it goes, okay? This MMO, this was once the most hyped, most funded Kickstarter out there. And now we're looking at shutdowns, unpaid stuff, furious investors, and even lawsuits alleging outright fraud. And looking into this, I'm pretty sure this man just straight up scamming their people. So I'm gonna walk you through what Ashes was supposed to be, Ashes of Creation, sorry, what went wrong and how the MMO genre plays into this. Let's get into it. What's up, my fellow internet gangsters? I hope you're doing well. Yes, I actually found the upload button again. I was lazy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better, okay? Don't judge me, please. Back in 2017, Ashes of Creation launched a Kickstarter and raised $3 million plus from roughly 20,000 backers, making it one of the biggest MMO Kickstarters ever. This is so crazy and so much money. The game was developed by Unpaid Studios, led by creative director Steven Sharif. I hope I say his name right, so let's stay with Steven, I guess, okay? The pitch was kinda easy but also straightforward. Player-driven sandbox MMO with a dynamic node system, large-scale PvP, politics, goddamn politics again, and a world that evolves based on player actions. I mean, how many times have we gamers heard that? Steven repeatedly sold this as a self-funded, no publisher, no board, no greedy corporate overlords, just him and the community. And mark these words, guys, okay? Do not forget about them. This is the most important part of all. On Kickstarter, they even wrote that if the game never launched, listen, backers would be refunded in full. And Steven said he had personal reserves set aside for that. That's almost like too good to be true. Which then, at the end of the day, exactly was. And I'm still baffled that a game like that people loved, that played and supported it, came out like that. So, as we all know, when you create MMOs, that's when the long wait, started, okay? Development dragged on for years with tech demos, concept videos and limited alphas, but no real release in sight. As we know in games nowadays, early access and alphas is just like a common thing. We are used to it. But in MMOs, it's like almost a must-have, since a game will take so long, you have to give people something so they stay on. In 2018 till 19, they launched a Battle Royale spin-off. First big sign that something is going on. It's what's called Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, supposedly to test the systems. It shut down in 2020 and many fans saw it as distraction from the actual MMO. Good. And that was like crazy. Imagine you're waiting for an MMO and then the typical thing happens. Hey guys, we have a Battle Royale, let's go have fun. Brother, am I funding a Fortnite or an MMO? What the hell is going on? People that baked it, like in the alpha times, felt so weird, and especially from 2021 onward, often felt the game was like thin and no content was there, and for how long it had been in development. There were also early red flags around Steven himself, so this is also the next big sign, which I also had no idea prior. He had no prior game dev experience. Yes, plenty of people try it out, plenty of people get new into this, but having no experience doing an MMO is like crazy. It's like you just started driving a car and now you're going for F1. Also, which was a big red flag, he had a background in multi-level marketing, scheme thingies, whatever. I don't have time to explain to you what exactly it is. It was just like a scam, a pyramid scam, okay? It's just straight up a scam, and he was into that, which I had no idea. This is like the biggest red flag ever. Now comes the funny part, which is like connected to this MLM and pyramid scheme thingy. He had a referral program during Kickstarter that looked MLM-ish, I guess, pyramid scheme-ish enough that it had to be changed to comply with Kickstarter's rules. So he already tried that before it got started. So, I mean, that's almost a little bit on Kickstarter itself. They should have made like, yo, a full stop. What the hell is going on? Why are you trying to make a LMM out of a game? Now, after all this, years have gone, they actually started a launch on Steam. Now, this is the biggest fast forward, yes, but now it's important to listen. So, in December 11th, 2025, after around 8 to 9 years of development, Ashes finally launches on Steam Early Access for $50. Yes, $50, $50. Wherever you're watching it and eating your food while watching this video from, make your own, like, calculation how much that is. What players got was essentially a paid alpha. Remember guys, people already paid for it. Feedback was mixed. People praised the systems, nodes, economy, PvP ideas, but they slammed the grindy leveling, thin quests, and overall unfinished feel. So you see, the game itself had a problem, the Steam launch had a problem, and the Kickstarter had a problem. So a lot of reviews asked the same thing. How is this so bare bones after almost a decade and millions of dollars? The Steam reviews were like fucking them all over the place. So in January 26, okay, everything starts to crack down now. So all the red flags we gathered so far, it's getting too heavy to hold them on their own. Late January, around 9 of roughly 250 employees were laid off, which is by the way normal. This is in the gaming world totally normal. At the beginning you have more to start off a game and then afterwards you release some. So in my opinion, that wasn't that big of a deal at first. On January 29th, Unpaid posted a letter saying they remained deeply committed to make Ashes of Creation a world worthy of your time. Their words. At the same time, Margaret Crone, what was she, like director of communications and marketing? Yeah, that's what she announced she was leaving and hinted at layoffs and instability. She was one of the guys. Plenty of games have that people that hold their face onto their game. I don't know how to explain exactly, but she was the front of it. People knew her from Ashes of Creation. When she left, oh boy, now we are getting fucked. February 26. As you can see on your calendar, this is right now. Now it's falling off a cliff. It's not down yet, but it's falling. Unpaid filed a WARN Act notice in California, no idea what that is, saying they'd issued layoff notice to almost everyone and effectively shut down by February 2nd, 2026. Okay, do you remember when I said like they laid off some at the beginning, which is totally normal? Now they laid all off. Depending on the filing, somewhere between 120 and 210 employees were affected. That is crazy. And now think about it. As a baker of this game, as someone that's waiting for that goddamn game, you see this, you are scared shitless. Employees say they were told there was no money for final paychecks, warn pay, PTO payouts, or severance. As if it wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. Around the same time, Steam removed the game from sale. Existing owners could still log in, but new purchases were blocked while Valve investigated. I mean, come on, man. If Steam investigates you, it's over. I mean, there's games there that are straight up illegal. They're fine, but if they have to do it, they have to do it. The refunds became a mess. Some players with low playtime got refunds. As if you don't know, on Steam you can buy a game, play under 2 hours, and you can refund it. Others with dozens and hundreds of hours were denied under Steam's normal policies. Imagine you're baking the game, playing the game, buying the game again, and then playing it again, and then get fucked again. I mean, at this point, I'm sorry, but at the same time, it's on you. So, Steven's story, the board made me resign. All of a sudden, there was a board. What the hell is happening? Didn't you say? Steven repeatedly sold this as a self-funded, no publisher, no board, no greedy corporate overlords, just him and the community. Publicly, Steven put on a very different story. So he is now probably on so-called demon mode. He probably fucked himself and now he's trying to figure out like how can he handle that? How can he go the other way around and see what he can do? He said the control of the company had shifted away from him to board that began directing actions he could not ethically support. So Steven, that was already a scammer before, obviously probably tried to scam again. He's saying now that he cannot ethically support what the board that wasn't supposed to be there is doing. I already see a movie in the making, by the way. I would not be surprised if Netflix catches on this. Another true crime in the making. Gamers, be ready. He claimed he resigned in protest rather than lend his name to those decisions. That is so weird. He stressed that the developers acted in good faith and deserved better, which I believe. The devs are always never really at fault. That he couldn't say more due to legal governance issues, but hinted he'd eventually set the record straight. And that's what I'm waiting for. Now, this thing is gonna be a big deal, because either he's gonna expose himself and be like, hey guys, yes, I wanted to fuck you guys and scam, but at the same time he probably got scammed himself. So people bought into it, he let it happen, and that's where we are right now. People started digging into filings and insider reports, right? Corporate documents from late 2025 still listed Steven as the sole director, John Muir as CFO, no idea what that means, you guys know that, with no obvious traditional board listed. So far, everything seems really open about it and clear as day what the hell is going on, and from an outside perspective and a customer, you know, he is the guy. But reports from journalists and creators talked about an unnamed private equity group. Oh no, and investigations led to it that might be the case. So they had taken control of Unpaid and their IP. Ashes of Creations. So the rough picture from those reports were like external investors and lenders were now effectively the board. They wanted to cut costs, possibly move work offshore and shrink the team. And when leadership resisted, they moved towards mass layoffs instead of limping forward. And since then it totally escalated, like in big time lawsuits. TFE Game Holdings are going against Steven and John Moore and saying embezzling funds, mixing personal and company money, using company funds to buy property and allegedly keeping sale proceeds personally and recording loans as revenue to qualify for bigger bank loans. That's what they accusing them of. The complaint claims Ashes raised roughly 130 million, alleges around 17.4 million of that was misappropriated for personal or lawful use rather than development. So in other words, it seems like they use the money for other stuff than the game. This seems like that Steven, even before all this, tried to maybe hide either the red flags or get money out of it. So the people like dug into it and found legal stuff and that surfaced things like 850,000 unpaid cloud services bill. I mean, come on, that's almost $1 million. Unpaid insurance bills. And after all this, the people reporting on it are saying that it was 115 to 140 millions poured into Ashes of Creation. God damn, that's so much money. This is everything when you count Kickstarter into it, private investments, bank loans, and PPP funds. And multiple people that invested claim that Steven never put in his own capital, despite of years of public statements that he personally funded the vast majority of the project. Remember, guys? Steven repeatedly sold this as a self-funded, no publisher, no board, no greedy corporate overlords, just him and the community. Some players now argue that the Steam Early Access launch was less about testing and more about last-ditch cash grab to keep the studio afloat or satisfy lenders. So let's go back to Kickstarter. I mean, on Kickstarter, Interpret wrote, in the case that Ashes of Creation does not launch, we promise to refund all bakers in full. So now, what does that mean? I mean, in the case it does not launch, when does it launch exactly? At what point is a game launched at all? Technically, the game did hit early access on Steam, but it never reaches a full 1.0 release, which I personally would think like, yes, if you say this is a full launch, this is a 1.0 release, yeah, I would see it as a full launch, right? But early access is also a launch, so what the hell, where is it now? Because that leaves bakers in a gray zone. From the studio's perspective, they can say, yeah, it launched, yeah, it's in early access, but it's there. You can play it, you can buy it, you can do whatever you want, I guess. From the community's perspective, I mean, many feel the promised product never was there. I mean, even in the beginning, people are already like, yo, there is nothing to do. So high-tier bakers will put in up to like 10k, yes, 10k for events, dinners, and long-term support, understandably feel the most betrayed. But at the same time, brother, if you invest 10k, it's again on you. So what the hell is the current state? I mean, we have early 2026. As of early of 2026, servers are still online for existing owners, so it's still there. There is no visible active dev team. Most stuff have been laid off or left. Imagine you're just playing a game and it's just a wasteland of nobody there, just you guys. It's like you're walking into a city, built up, ready to play in, I guess, but there's nobody there. It's you and nobody else. So the Ashes of Creation IP is now believed to be controlled by the investors' side, I guess, and not Steven, or even the original Interpret leadership. I mean, nobody knows who even they are. So the game is basically in a zombie state, right? Like, it's playable for now, but with no clear future and no functioning studio behind it. That's so weird, because most of the time, if stuff like that happens, the servers are shutting down faster than anything. Alright, listen guys, while making this video, while writing stuff down, correcting it, looking into it, I almost gave up 3 times. Trust me. But here we are now. So what the hell is happening, okay? So apparently investors released some bombshells. While I was working on this video, even more insane information came out from one of the Interpret's main investors, Jason Karamanis, whatever it's called, you know how it is. He shared hundreds of pages of texts and financial documents that completely flipped the self-funded visionary image on its head. Oh boy. I'll link you some videos in the description where goddamn, I forgot his name. He has like a really deep voice. He's gonna be in the description if you want to look into it. It's like an hour-long plus where he released some footage, talked with some people. So I'll go over it real quick. According to Jason, Steven never put in his own money, which we clearly already had talked about it before, so we knew about it. Instead, pulled in well over $100 million from investor loans and banks. Jason says he personally invested around 12.5 million, and another investor, Robert Dawson, allegedly put in roughly 80 to 90 million through personal funds and companies. I am baffled. This is so much money that he managed to fuck with them and like trick them into going into. So this is now confirmed, allegedly confirmed, combined with bank loans, Kickstarters and PPP money and other investors. Jason says the real total burned on ashes is closer to $140 million. Oh, brother, give me half of it and I'll make you 3 games. Jason also claims Steven repeatedly told investors and the public he had invested tens of millions of his own money. Yeah, clearly a lie. But when Jason finally got access to the financial data, he says he couldn't find a single genuine dollar of Steve's personal capital in Unpaid. I mean, how stupid you have to be in this case, like Steven, allegedly. You have to lie that upfront and then give access to the people you lied to so they can prove themselves that he was lying. So instead, he alleges Steven and his husband were paying themselves about $500,000 a year each. So while constantly begging investors to cover payroll, convention booths, and marketing. Damn. So the final break about this is like the investors versus the Steven. By late 25, early 26, Jason says the investors had enough. According to him, Ashes had a burn rate around 2.5 million per month. Revenue was made 150k to 200k a month, like big time difference there, in pre-orders and sales, and the gap was being filled entirely by investors' cash and loans. Damn, that was already bleeding money like a long time ago. Leading investors Robert Dawson, who Jason says put in about 80 million proposed and restructuring plan. Lay off 60 to 70% of staff to stop the bleeding, which probably would not help. I mean, yeah, maybe. Keep Steven on as a creative director with performance-based equity instead of upfront ownership. And I think that's the problem here. Probably Steven didn't want that. He didn't want to step down as like the CEO or the big guy, and they said like, yeah, listen here, brother, you can't make it. Jason says Steven refused unless he got immediate new equity despite having put in no money, and when investors wouldn't agree, he chose to resign. Okay, I should have just keep reading. That's exactly what I said. After all this, there is more updates. So their lawsuit is coming. They are saying like it's a 140 million fraud now. Okay, on top of Jason's testimony, we now have a formal lawsuit. Yeah, GG guys. The TFE Game Holdings lawsuit in Nevada alleges that, listen here, Steven and John misappropriated about 17.4 million, treated shareholders' loans as income to secure bigger bank loans, and still haven't turned over full financial records. So there is still open stuff. Articles summarizing the investor documents describe this as a potential 140 million fraud case in the allegations hold up. One of the biggest scandals gaming has seen in years. I mean, it has to be. This is crazy. And that's why I thought like, come on man, I have to look into it. I want to see like how much money we are talking about. This is crazy. When you go back and read like Steven's statement about an unethical board forcing his hand, Disney Info paints a very different picture. It was so clear. The board looks a lot like furious like investors trying to stop a runaway burn rate and bleeding. And his resignation in protests, in quotation, allegedly came right before the bank move that pulled like the Steam money and collapsed the studio. So he is not resigning. This motherfucker is running. Legally, these are still allegations at the end of the day. Courts have to sort out what's true, but what's wrong. But right now, the documents and investor stories make Steven look less like a victim and more like the person who lit the fuse on Unpaid's collapse. Not only did he lit it, motherfucker burned it down. So, where the hell does that leave us? I mean, Ashes of Creation started as one of the most ambitious Kickstarter MMOs ever. And after all this, we have seen plenty of scams. After almost 10 years, over 3 million in crowdfunding, somewhere around 100 million in investors and loan money, and a $50 early access launch, the studio imploded in weeks. As an outstanding point of view, you thought like they're shitting money. The developers were laid off without pay. Biggest fuck you in your face. Bakers are stuck in a limbo, investors say they were misled, and the game's IP is essentially frozen, and people are walking around there and not knowing what the hell is going on. So you tell me, do you think this was a scam from day one? I mean, in my opinion, big time, yes, allegedly. But should the Kickstarter also do something? Because what the hell has this Kickstarter now where does Kickstarter stay here now? They knew from the beginning about the MLM things that he tried to do. Push them to remove it, but then still let them go. Is it their fault now? I mean, also not. I mean, yes, I don't know. Alright guys, enough of MMOs, enough of scams. God damn, I can't hear it anymore. Listen here, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite MMO, if you bought it or not. If you did, tell me please if you got a refund or not. And if you wanna visit my Twitch, come on over, let me know that I'm an idiot. Link is in the description. Till next time. Peace.
1